Hello, welcome to the open house for the Accounting Applications 1 class. Unfortunately, due to a scheduling conflict, I'm not able to be live and available during this time. However, I've recorded a video that hopefully helps you out, and you can contact me with any questions at schweik.jacob@brevardschools.org. And I do teach several classes here at Melbourne High School in the CTE department. I teach Digital Information Technology, International Business Systems, and Accounting Application from the International Business Program. And then I also teach Computer and Network Security Fundamentals and Cybersecurity Essentials from the new Applied Cybersecurity Program. We are talking about Accounting Applications 1 this evening. Accounting Applications 1 is a basic introduction to accounting, and we have a specific emphasis on computer applications, and that being our QuickBooks Online. The students will learn how to use QuickBooks Online and will have 3 opportunities to pass a certification, the QuickBooks Online Certified User US version. We do use a blended learning model in school and in this class, and what that means is that the students have both online and in-person parts of the class. We have conversations and we go through different parts, but then there's also a part where they're going to go on and they're actually going to be using a real live QuickBooks account. And so in this class, I utilize Microsoft Teams as our learning management system. So this would be similar to Google Classroom, if you're familiar with that. I just use the Microsoft Teams instead of Google Classroom. They also will be using something called the Labyrinth eLab. Labyrinth is the publisher of the textbook that I use in this class, and eLab is their online learning laboratory. And they also are using QuickBooks Online for the first half of the class. As I said, they are using a full live version of QuickBooks, and so they're learning how to use the actual application that many small businesses in the United States use to manage their books. Some of the things that I require for my e-learners is I require a daily check-in. And again, this is just for the e-learners. It is a Microsoft form that must be completed in the first 10 minutes of every day, and this is just for attendance purposes. So if anything were to happen, if we were to have an internet issue or if something else were to happen, this is just to verify that the student was active and available during that time. However, the main attendance method that I use is the daily Teams meetings. So inside of Microsoft Teams, there's the ability to set up video meetings. And so most days we will have a team meeting and we'll have some sort of a class discussion and a verbal check-in where the students will turn their cameras on and make sure that I can see their face so that we know that they are the ones that are actually participating in the learning. With these, the students must turn their cameras on during the check-in. If I'm doing some sort of a lecture or just sharing something, they're not required to have their cameras on the whole time, but I do require that at least once during that meeting I get to see their face to verify that, that the student is actually engaged in the learning. Grading for everybody, these are just some things outside of the normal. One of the things that I do is a weekly checkout, and so we utilize an online application called Flipgrid. And Flipgrid, it allows the students to record a video response to some prompts. And so typically this is where I ask them to do some reflection on the week, just talk about a strong point and a weak point, something that they did very well and something that they maybe needed to go back and work on. Each week these open on Thursday mornings and they close by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. These assignments are not available to go back and do later, and the reason is these are reflections on the week, and so kind of my philosophy on it is it's not really possible and viable to go and do a weekly reflection 2 or 3 weeks after the fact, and so these have to be done. They have to be done on the weekend for the week that they're assigned. They are worth 25 points apiece, which is not a lot, but if the students choose not to do these, it will add up. Also, we have a weekly participation. This is something that that I don't normally do, but with our kind of blended e-learning, distance learning scenario right now, I just felt that it was necessary to kind of have some way emphasize the participation of the students. And so what it is each day that we have class, there's essentially 5 points that they can lose. It's not, they're not earning the points. The student has them, and if it becomes like a major problem where they're consistently not participating, if they're not engaging in the conversations, answering questions, then I would deduct points for that day. Late assignments. Any assignments turned in after the due date are not eligible for credit. And the reason is especially in this class, we move fairly quickly. And so if the assignments are being turned in late, there's probably going to be a lot more issues down the road. The exception would be is that I do allow students to turn in a late assignment using something called a fix-it ticket. And this is actually they can find that form in their class files on Teams. And it's just a PDF. And what it does is if they have an assignment that they turned in late that they do want to get credit for, they're going to print off the fix-it ticket. They're going to fill out the name of the assignment, what day it was due, what day they turned it in, and why. And then what they're going to do is they're going to sign it, and they're going to take it to you, and you're going to sign it. And really, what this is this is just kind of an accountability method. That way, we're all on the same page. That you, as their parents, are understanding that they're turning these assignments in late, and you're seeing the reasons why the reasons are that they're giving for turning these in assignments late. Because there are going to be very valid reasons why they're turning in an assignment late, and that happens in the real world. But then we may find that we are seeing a consistent pattern of assignments being they're kind of choosing to turn the assignment in late or not choosing the appropriate time management. And like I said, they can do this up to 5 times per grading period, and so that would be 4 grading periods for the class. Lesson plans. I do expect the students to participate in my class, and that means not only just kind of showing up and being there, but also kind of being prepared. I do maintain lesson plans in planbook.com, and that is linked through our Microsoft Teams as well. My expectation is that the students are looking at those lesson plans beforehand and are preparing themselves. If the lesson plan indicates that we're going to have a discussion or some sort of an activity, I do expect, especially the students at this junior senior level, to come to class ready to have that conversation and to be prepared. I also do require them to engage in class discussions. Especially when we're in the QuickBooks part, there's probably not a lot of discussion because it is just a lot of information going out and demonstration of the software. However, if I do ask a question or if I do have some sort of an interaction required, I do expect the students to be engaging. We do have a certification, and that is the QuickBooks Online Certified User US version. We will be making 3 attempts at this. The first one is Thursday, March 4th. The next one is Thursday, March 25th. This is the date of the midterm exam. And the last one will be Friday, April 16th. The students, if they pass this certification on March 4th, they will not be required to take the certification the other 2 days and will actually receive an A for it. But this does give the students, the students are allowed by the Florida Department of Education up to 3 attempts at any certification with a minimum of 20 days in between the attempts. Something I want you to keep in mind is that all certification exams must be taken on-site, even for e-learning students. This is not my rule. This is not a Mel High rule. This is actually the Florida Department of Education has let us know that they have gone back to requiring that all industry certifications be taken in a valid testing site, and that is not through e-learning at the student's home. And so the students will need to plan on being on site for the certification tests. If we do have a problem in class, this is the typical escalation ladder. I will give them a warning and let them know what they're doing is not appropriate. After that, I would be contacting the parent or guardian, and they could potentially lose some class privileges that are associated with the behavior. And then after that, if we have a continued pattern of behavior, I would fill out a disciplinary referral and send that up to administration. Electronics, this applies mostly for my in-class students. Personal devices should not be used in a way that disrupts learning. And what I'm saying here is, like, if they're bringing in a laptop or a cell phone and they're choosing to use that in a way that disrupts other students or is used to avoid doing the classwork in my class, we'll have a problem with that, and we would have to address that with the electronics policy here at Mel High. Also, the classroom computers here, we cannot use them for online gaming. There's a lot of instances of malware out there, and my program has to buy the computers in my classroom. So if I were to lose a computer because a student was on a site that exposed the computer to malware, I would be the one responsible for finding $1,200 in my program to buy a new computer. So it's just kind of a way to make sure, number one, they really don't need to be doing those things in class. If they've got time for online games, then perhaps we need some more work. If the students are using electronics improperly, I'll give them a warning, and then it escalates directly to a disciplinary referral as per the electronics policy at Mel High. Just as a side note for my e-learning students, the parents of my e-learning students, the electronics policy does apply to students using our platform. So if a student were to misuse our Microsoft Teams account or something of that nature, these electronics policies or perhaps another policy would be enforced. Again, communication. If you need to reach me, probably one of the best ways for a parent or guardian to reach me would be through email. My email is schweik.jacob@brevardschools.org, and that is spelled just like you see on the screen, schweich.jacob@brevardschools.org. I do my best to answer emails as quickly as possible. Most of the time, because of the new method that we're using, this kind of blended learning method with students in class and students at home, I do spend a lot of time in front of my computer, and which means that I am available to answer emails quite a large portion of the day. So please, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and let me know.